Hello everybody, my name is Tyler Andrews, and today we are going to be doing something that many people have done before, but I am going to do it once again. Today we are going to be reviewing the entire MCU, but this time. So first of all, we have Iron Man, the original Iron Man, the movie that started it all. Iron Man is truly a staple of the superhero movie genre. It has everything you could want in a superhero movie and was a great way to start off the MCU, with the exception of the third act, which is a little odd. 9 out of 10. Next up, we have The Incredible Hulk, which is basically the movie that nobody remembers, including Marvel themselves. This movie's pretty good. It's about as good as you're going to get for a Hulk movie. 6 out of 10. Next up, we have Iron Man 2. Truthfully, this movie is something that I'm just not into, but I could see why people would like it. It has drunk Iron Man, it has action. What else could you want from a movie? 5 out of 10. Next up, we have Kenneth Branagh directed Thor. This movie is actually pretty good. It's a good fish out of water story, but I wouldn't say it's anything too special. 7 out of 10. Next up, we have Captain America, the First Avenger, the movie that confused everybody that ever uses the term the First Avenger. I will say that the third act is a little disappointing, but I do like it overall. 7.5 out of 10. Next up, we have Marvel's The Avengers, and this is the movie where Marvel decided to be greedy and put their brand name in front of the title. This is basically the best you were gonna get for a team-up movie in 2012. This is truthfully a great masterpiece of a movie, and if you have not seen it, or you don't want to see it because everyone hates Joss Whedon now, I would recommend still watching this movie. It's a really good movie. 10 out of 10. We have Iron Man 3. This is a movie that I can see why people like, but I just don't personally like it myself. I do like certain aspects of it. It's fun action scenes, and I also like the PTSD aspect that is coming from Iron Man himself. But other than that, I just don't really find much enjoyment in this movie personally. 5.5 out of 10. Then we have Thor: The Dark World. This is the Thor movie we all want to forget, but unfortunately we can't. 0 out of 10. I don't like this movie at all. I'm just kidding. It's probably like 3 out of 10, but still, it's a bad movie. Then we have Captain America: The Bucky Barnes Story. The Winter Soldier. This is a classic masterpiece of a movie. It's truthfully the best and most different movie in Phase 2. It has everything you could want. Drama, cool action set pieces, shaky cam, which, believe it or not, is done well in this movie. I know what you're saying. No, it's not. Yes, it is. I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie a 10 out of 10. It's a really good movie, truthfully. Next up, we have the prequel to the Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy. What else is there to say about this movie? It's funny, it has Batista, and it has Chris Pratt in it. It's all you could want. 9 out of 10, easy. Then we have the less liked big brother of the Avengers Age of Ultron. It's truthfully not a bad movie by any means, but it's basically just a repeat of what the Avengers was. It has a cool epic final battle. It has this and that. It has some tension in the team, but it is truthfully basically the only Avengers movie with all the Avengers together. So I got to give it credit for that. I do actually like this movie. It is fun, but it is just kind of a repeat of the first Avenger movie. I'm gonna have to go ahead and give this movie an 8 out of 10. Then we have the movie that nobody seems to like anymore, Ant-Man, and I actually really like this movie. I'm not a big fan of the villain, but other than that, this is a really fun, heartwarming comedy. I'm gonna have to go ahead and give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Then we have Avengers Civil War, or should I say Captain America Civil War. This is just boom, boom, booms, action set piece after action set piece. What else is there to say about it? It's great. 10 out of 10. Then we have the movie that switched things up a bit, Doctor Strange. He brought his little magical hands into it, and ever since then, the MCU has just loved its magic. You gotta thank this movie for changing things up a little bit. It's a great movie all in all, 8.5 out of 10. Then we have the infamous Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the movie that nobody remembers, but for some reason, it's still good. Not as good as the first one, but it is still good. And I also like Ego. I don't know why they didn't figure out that he's a bad guy. His name is literally Ego. 8.5 out of 10. Then we have Tom Holland's Spider-Man Homecoming. This is only the third Spider-Man we've ever gotten, folks. Stop complaining about the amount of Spider-Man we've had. This is actually a really fun, charming movie. I think Tom Holland does an actually really great job and do a good job in this movie. 9 out of 10. Then we have the first ever Thor, at least in my mind, Thor Ragnarok. This completely reinvented the character Thor, and for many people, this has started a whole new trilogy for this new, more fun, upbeat version of Thor. 9.5 out of 10. Then we have the movie that makes me sad now, Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. This is actually a really good movie all in all. What Chadwick Boseman did with the character was truly bring Black Panther to life, and I hope that he knows that he really did leave an impact on many people's life. 10 out of 10. Then we have the movie that got confused with Call of Duty a lot, Avengers Infinity War. This really did a great job with balancing so many different characters. 10 out of freaking 10. Then we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I can't seem to remember right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a 6 out of 10. Then we have Captain Marvel, basically the first ever female solo superhero movie, and with the exception of a few nitpicks I really do think this is just Captain Marvel. She's cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Then we have Avengers Endgame, the end, or at least in my opinion, the end of the Infinity Saga. This is truthfully the best way they could have wrapped up all these awesome stories. And I think that this movie is honestly my favorite ever MCU movie. So for that, I'm gonna give it an 11 out of 10. Then we have Spider-Man Far From Home, which I think is better than Spider-Man Homecoming, but a lot of people tend to disagree with that, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with everything I say. I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie a 10 out of 10 as well.